Now, speaking of the KHL and some of the teams in the league, I want to look at some of the logo changes that have taken place for this season. Obviously, I've been keeping Chris updated with these logo changes as they've been coming in. Every year or so, some of the teams around the league like to mix up their logos a little bit. So I want to take you through some of these logos. There's been 3 logo changes as far as I'm aware. I'm not doing them in the order in which they were released. So, Chris, I want to take you through the Tractor Chelyabinsk logo change first. Do you have the logo at hand there so you can take a look? Because I'm going to show it up on the screen.
I'm going to Google it just in case the Elite Prospects hasn't updated it yet.
Okay, perfect. So I'm going to put it up on the screen now. So this is what the Tractor Chelyabinsk logo looks like now. On the left, you have the logo from 1995 to 2020, which I actually quite liked. Tractor Chelyabinsk's old logo. I thought it had that San Jose Sharks vibe to it, where it's like the
biting of the stick.
Yeah, polar bear biting the stick in half. It's unique enough to some of the other logos around the KHL that you know exactly what it is. Obviously, on the right hand side of that is the new logo. Now, when I first saw that logo, I thought, I don't really like that. I'm not really sure if that's my kind of logo. It's obviously they've gone for a much more modern twist, and you guys know me if you watch my YouTube channel or anything like that. I'm very much a hockey history guy. I love the history of the league, so maybe it's just like the historian in me being like, oh, I don't like change. But that logo, I had a bit of reservation about it. However, when I saw it on their like home jersey, their black home jersey, and they had the white new Chelyabinsk logo on it, I actually quite liked it. It took me a little while to kind of warm up to, but I've got to say it is quite a nice logo. It's obviously far more modern, but I'm always going to have a soft spot for the old one. Chris, what do you think about Chelyabinsk's new logo?
I'm kind of the same, really. I'm just trying to find a picture of the new one on a jersey, but I've got the two side by side. And yeah, I'm kind of... I like the old one.
Yeah.
But I can see why they've updated it. And I think particularly nowadays, there seems to be a little bit... I've seen it on the white. Yeah, it looks really nice on the white, actually.
Yeah.
There seems to be quite an emphasis on simple and yet like bold logos. Look at Dynamo Minsk. Look at even Dynamo Moscow, and they're simple. It's a letter, or in CS case, it's a star.
Yeah. It's
not. I mean, particularly. I mean, they're kind of things that a kid could draw if they wanted to. Whereas, like, take over here in the Elite League, it takes a lot of effort and skill to like draw a Panthers logo or a Cardiff Devils logo, because there's quite a bit going on with them. So I quite like the simplicity. They kind of obviously takes an emphasis because it's bold. It makes the jersey a bit less busy.
Yep.
Particularly because there's a few sponsors on there as well. You risk it getting a bit too cluttered. So I quite like it.
Yeah, I think it's one that took a little while to grow on me. When I kind of saw the logo by itself, I was like, oh, I'm not really sure about that. But once you actually see it in action on a jersey, you're like, okay, no, I see it. I see it now. It looks good. So that was the first one of the 3. Let's move on to the second one now, and we shall look at the new logo of Salavat Yuleyev, which looks a little bit like this, folks. It's very, very similar to the previous logo. They've essentially just taken out the writing at the bottom and moved the face on the logo more to the left to kind of complete the triangle. It's not a huge difference compared to the previous logo, but I think it's a subtle enough change that it's a nice change, in my opinion. I think it's subtle enough that it keeps the kind of spirit of the previous logo, and it's not too much of a change, but it's different enough that it stands out by itself, and it's more marketable because it doesn't have, obviously, I would imagine, I can't remember exactly what the writing was underneath, but I didn't understand the writing underneath. I didn't know what it said. And if they're wanting to go for a little bit more of an international appeal, having a logo with no writing on it and just kind of a really cool image, I think it looks pretty cool. What do you think, Chris?
Yeah, like you say, it's quite subtle. I quite like it. I mean, as you said, it does make it a little much more marketable. Not having the writing on it. But other than that, I mean, it's kind of very much the same.
Yeah.
As it was, which is, as you said, it's nice. I think the the theme we're seeing here is that they're kind of going for a simplicity where they can.
Yeah.
And just trying to make them a bit less busy. So yeah, it's a nice logo. It kind of, I'm trying to think what it puts me in mind of, and I can't kind of quite put my finger on it. But
okay. Should we maybe
kind of with
you go for it.
No, I think it was like a bank over here in the UK with kind of the lady kind of with the lines. I can't remember what it is.
I know where you're going with this, but I don't know the bank's name off the top of my head.
No, I can't remember.
No,
but,
I know what you're going for though. Yeah.
It's almost kind of like a Scottish Widows type thing.
Yeah, something like that. It's one of those logos that, like, unless you knew the team, you wouldn't necessarily assume it was a hockey team logo. But I think it's a nice logo. I think it's a subtle change, so I'm not too bothered about that one, to be honest. Now for one that I don't think I like. I think this is probably the one that I like the least out of all of them, and that's the Dinamo Riga logo change, which now looks like this. So this is what the Dinamo Riga logo looks like. I've got to be honest, I really liked the previous logo. I get why they've done it. I feel like it's a little bit... I wouldn't have been surprised if they had the same designer for the Chelyabinsk one as they did the Riga one, because they're very similar in kind of like their style and how like definitive some of the primary color of the black for Chelyabinsk and obviously this much darker red for Riga are. But I've got to be honest, I really liked Riga's old logo. I think it looks regal enough. I think it stands out compared to a lot of the other KHL logos, whereas now the logo looks a little bit too similar to kind of everyone else. Don't get me wrong, I completely understand why they've done the logo change, like Chris mentioned, the simplicity of it, to make it easier to be more marketable, to kind of bring it into the 21st century, because Riga's been a team that's been around for a very long time. They've had that logo for a very long time as well. I can imagine they maybe changed the D on it as well, because there might have been a bit of confusion with Dynamo Moscow, which is pretty much the exact same D, but blue. So there may have been, they wanted to kind of stand out on their own a little bit there. Chris, what do you think about this logo? It's the last one of the new ones as far as I'm aware. What do you think about it?
It looks like a European football logo.
Okay.
That's the first thing that jumps out at me. It looks like a team. I mean, I probably won't be able to get one off the top of my head. I'll have a brief look, see if I can find anything while I'm talking. But it just looks that kind of shield way of doing it. And it looks very much kind of European football-y, with the sharp lines and the bits like that. I mean, Fulham is kind of a little bit similar to Fulham's logo. It's more kind of European than kind of German and things like that, where I think there's one in Portugal, which is a bit similar, where you have kind of a shield similar to what Dinamo Riga have done there. And then you put letters in the middle of it. Yeah. It just feels a bit kind of samey and similar to other stuff.
Yeah.
So I am not sure.
Would you prefer the older one or the newer one for Dinamo Riga? If you were a Dinamo Riga fan, which one would you want more?
If I was a Dinamo Riga fan, I think I would probably want the old one more.
Yeah.
As I said, I can see why they've done the logo that they've done, but it just doesn't, to me, work as well as the old one did. I think you could have changed the D and kept the essence of the old logo.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Rather than change as much as they have. I think, to me, I prefer, you could have changed the D and made it stand out more from other teams and not changed as much. I still think it looks smart, but I think I personally prefer the other one.
Obviously, we can't necessarily speak for Dinamo Riga fans. We don't live in Latvia. Haven't got a huge following in Latvia yet. Hopefully, maybe one day.
If you are a Dinamo Riga fan, let us know what you think of the
Exactly,
logo.
Yeah, absolutely. If you are a Riga fan, I know we have a few Latvian viewers of the podcast. Do let us know in the comments or anything like that. Do let us know on social media or anything like that. But yeah, those were the three new KHL logos. So there you go.